Wednesday, November 15th, 2023, interview of Dr. Samuel Gaines by Lily Zhang at Lincoln Park Academy in Fort Pierce, Florida. This interview is being conducted in LPA's Centennial year to gather personal memories of Dr. Gaines' experiences as a student at Lincoln Park Academy. Dr. Gaines, thank you so much for agreeing to help with this oral histories project. So if at any time you would like to pause, we're more than welcome. All right, so do I have permission to conduct this interview?
Yes, you have.
All right, so what is your full name?
Samuel Stone E. Gaines.
Okay, so when and where were you born?
I was born the year of 1938. I was born in West Palm Beach.
Okay.
But my mother took down with polio 6 months after I was born. So my grandfather went down and brought all of us back to Fort Pierce.
Oh, okay.
So therefore I was raised in Fort Pierce.
So did your family have roots in Fort Pierce?
My family, the Stone family is a part of, we are, what I would say, we're film directors. They all stem from Melbourne. There's a Stone Street and all that. I grew up with all of them in Melbourne. 3 of the brothers went into business.
Yeah.
One went in Tampa in 1916. One went to Cocoa in 1923. And my grandfather opened up here in 1932.
Oh, okay.
And I have physical records that I can put my hand on from 1932 up until today.
Wow. So how long have you lived in Fort Pierce here?
All my life.
Your entire life? Never moved?
Oh, well, at one time when I went to school, I went off to college.
Oh, okay. And then you came back? Okay.
So 4 years in Talladega, and then I went to New York for my mortuary license, so there for about 5 years.
Oh, okay. So what was Fort Pierce like growing up for you?
Fort Pierce was not like it is today.
Right.
You have to understand, back there in the 30s and 40s, we were living in a different times. There was segregation.
Yes.
I lived in front of a huge park on 7th Street. Next to that park was all kind of play equipment. But we, as kids, could not go over there and play.
Right.
We found ways on the west side of 7th Street, going back toward 8th Street, we found ways to make our own playgrounds. Put a boat on a barrel. Get a string in the tree, have a swing. But those are the times. I tell people you have to realize it was not just that, but that was what we lived in.
Yeah.
I can go to the fact that going down to the courthouse, there was 2 water fountains. Said one was colored and one said white.
Yes.
Being funeral directors, we'd have to get death certificates signed, and a lot of people went to the white doctors. They had a room on the porch in the back of their office where other blacks went. When I would have to carry death certificates down there, I'd have to go to that back door to get my death certificate. And they would sign in, I'd go back and get, these were the times we lived in. See, nobody went to that front door, we went to the back door, but these were just the times, and that was Fort Pierce. Fort Pierce, but now it's altogether different.
Yeah.
But those were the years that was like that. But I have quite a few memories of those days and times because even the school,
Yeah.
even Lincoln Park, I don't know whether you know the history of Lincoln Park, but you see, do you know the history of Lincoln Park?
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Okay, but starting on 8th Street, okay, in a little tin shed where they used to keep, we won't go there now. But you see, all of that is a part of what we lived in. Even the teachers.
Right.
All the teachers in Lincoln Park, when Lincoln Park was open there on Means Court. The history says that the principal at that time had to go in and add to the rooms that was built because it made more rooms. It was a wooden building, but he did it. Now I went to the 2-story building. I started in the 4th grade. fourth grade, and because we went to a private lady that used to teach at home, Mrs. called Mrs. Wright, and we stayed there, and she kept us there. And when we got ready to leave, she had a sister-in-law that lived upstairs, and she knew what level we were to. She taught the fourth grade, so therefore, when three of us left, she put all of us went to the fourth grade because she knew that we were ready for it. And from the fourth right on up, never stumbled.
So, in your younger years, or even now, was there ever a quote, a saying, or a phrase that was inspirational to you? Something that maybe a family member said or a figure?
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
I can't think of anything, not a phrase or anything. Might be one, but right now this is not putting one up.
All right. So tell me about your family background. So I know your family is a lot of funeral directors.
But see, the main thing, my mother.
Mm-hmm.
I told you my mother took down with polio. I always knew her to be in a wheelchair because my grandfather went to Palm Beach and brought us back in there for. But as growing up, people would come by. We lived on 7th Street, and people would come by and holler at her, and they would talk from the window. She'd be up in the window, and people would come by. They just to talk. So that's why she knew everybody, and they knew her.
Mm-hmm.
Later years, she started selling Avon, and some of the workers would tote her down, put her in the car, and she'd go around to the different houses, and they'd give her orders, and they'd come back, and she'd send orders in. And when the stuff would come, all the stuff in here, we had to help her put everything in order. So this is for her, this is for him, this is for her. So when the bags were ready, they'd take her around in the car, and she'd deliver all the stuff. And that's how Avon, that was the first Avon, because again, this was what we call the colored community.
Yes.
But the funeral business was there on 7th Street. I really didn't want to go any part of it. But later years, when I graduated after I finished and went back, I said my grandfather was getting kind of weary. And I said, I need to know something about this business that I can keep it going in case something happens to you.
Yes.
So therefore I agreed, and I told myself I'm going to stop it. I was going to Indiana to do some biological research. But I said, I'll put that on hold to go to Talladega, because I went to school to Gumpton. No, that wasn't Gumpton. I went to New York school, in Bombing. But funny, he told me when I did. He said, well, I've got a niece in Chicago, and I got a niece in New York, and both of them have multi schools. I said, I'm not going to Chicago because, what her name? She doesn't like to cook. I'm going to New York because Hazel, his niece Hazel, she likes to cook. So I called Hazel. She said, come on. So I went to New York to Montreal School, and I finished and came home back home. And came home, and he still was getting weary. I saw this, so therefore, one day I went and told him, I said, you came from here to here, we need a building. He said, he looked at me, he said, a building? I said, we need a building. I said, because this is not going to carry us into the future. He said, well, if that's what we want now, understand it's going to be on you. It won't be on me, because I'm not going to be here to help you take care of it. I said, okay, so therefore I did start. So therefore the building that's sitting there now is the building that I had put up for them. The funeral home was downstairs. It was just supposed to be a funeral home. But then when I realized I needed something for them, I added it upstairs to it, and they all moved up there, so they had living quarters. So now I use it all of it. My office was upstairs. It's still upstairs whenever I go. But that's just the history of the place and how we've survived. Over the years. We've been right here in Fort Pierce.
All right. So, did anyone in your family attend Lincoln Park Academy, or was it just you?
I came out in '56. I think my children all went to Central. No, I'm the only one that came to Lincoln Park. I had three
Okay.
kids, but by that time there were other schools,
Right.
and things had kind of changed, it being different. Understand that Lincoln Park was here because of segregation,
Yes.
and that's why it was here. It was for the blacks, and it
Yes.
grew that. And over the years, much had changed, therefore it, became open to everybody. But no, my kids, I think, went to Central.
Okay. So what was
My wife, however, one
Mm-hmm.
time taught here,
Mm-hmm.
and she was one of the first teachers that taught the junior college had a branch here,
Yes.
was sitting right next to, and she taught. I can't remember what it was she taught, but she taught there before he moved out to where,
Oh,
Lincoln Junior
wow.
College.
All right. So what was attending Lincoln Park Academy like for you?
Interesting. How was it like it for me? We had a good time.
Mm-hmm.
We had a good time. Teachers were stern. They were stern. Um, we had to get their work, had to get our work.
Yes.
No playing around. But we bonded. It was a bonding that we had that I think kept us, because right now, my classmates, whenever we see each other, we're just like this. It's that bond that still brings us together. But we made some strides, because at one time when our scores was higher than Dan McCarty's, and they thought something was going on, but they changed some things around. But but I was in Lincoln Park was a blessing, because our teachers were concerned about us.
Mm-hmm.
They were stern. For instance, I had now when it came my senior year, when we had a later English teacher, Mrs. Pierce, and she was always over the yearbook. She told us, it's time for you now to elect your officers. That's going to be for your yearbook. Samuel Gaines will be the treasurer. And I don't know whether that was the thing, because everything that I have been a part of, I've ended up as the treasurer. So, but I don't know. That has been Mrs. Pierce. Mrs. Pierce started. Eva Pierce. If she was a tall, so I'm walking down, everybody, she'll come in. Here comes Mrs. Pierce. Here comes Mrs. Pierce. You go straighten up. I don't care what you were doing. But we had fun.
Mm-hmm.
We had fun. We knew everybody, and the teachers all were people that we knew in the community. I knew most of all these now. I'm looking at, but it was more like a second home,
Yes.
because we were here and we were like a family.
Mm-hmm.
Not, like the family at my house or home, but we
Yeah.
were like a family. We looked out for each other, and nobody bothered us either.
Mm-hmm.
The Lincoln Park, take your hands off them, that's Lincoln Park.
Okay. So do you remember your favorite subjects here in LPA?
I would say probably math.
Math?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you participate in any sports or
Mm-hmm.
clubs?
No sports. No sports. Clubs were something that I don't think clubs, as you're speaking of, clubs was not something that we had.
Mm-hmm.
Those who played basketball or something like this, they excel. But as far as clubs, no. It was something my senior year, but I can't remember what it.
Okay. So, who were your favorite teachers here?
But as I said, you mean then?
Yes, yes.
Well, Mrs. Pierce, of course, was one of what we would say, Mrs. Rhodes, Rhodes. She ended up being our home teacher several times. I had her in the 5th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Because we marched in the 5th grade. When we finished going into the 6th grade, they carried us down to the theater, which was on Avenue D.
Yes.
And that's where we got our little diploma because we had graduated to the 6th grade. And Mrs. Rhodes was there with us then. And in later years, she became our teacher, our sponsor, I think my sophomore years, and she was with us all the way until we graduated. But now her husband happened to have been a dentist. He was the first dentist that was here in Fort Pierce, a black dentist.
Oh,
Mrs. Rhodes' husband was. That's like Miss Benton. Her husband was the medical doctor, Dr. C.C. Benton.
oh, yeah. Sorneal sis. No,
So see, their wives was a part of the school system.
Oh, wow. So, which LPA teacher or staff would you say had the most influence on you?
Same opposite, say Mrs. Rhodes.
Mrs. Rhodes, okay.
Mrs. Rhodes and Mrs. Pierce.
All right.
That was English and that was math.
Mm-hmm. Was it due to their sternness?
I think so.
All right. So, what is your favorite Lincoln Park Academy memory here?
I don't know. I don't know. Favorite memories. I don't know. Oh my Lord, my favorite memories go to. I said something to a classmate of mine, and he didn't like what I said. He knocked me down out there on the ground, and that was. It's a memory still. There's still that I remember, but Power Sweet. That was his name, Power Sweet. But I said something, but I knew that he had knocked me down. And then, I don't know, but I was on that ground. Everybody was, oh, look at this, Sam Gaines on the ground, Sam Gaines on the ground, Sam Gaines on the ground. But that I guess, outside of being into the classroom, or being on campus, things that happen to you, that would probably be one of my memories. Technically, other than that, I was respected by my classmates because of the family connection. A lot of them knew my grandpa, and he had served them, so therefore they knew I was a grandson, so therefore I was just Rip Stone's grandson.
So, how would you say your alumni would describe you as a student, a friend, a peer?
Those of us that are still living,
Yes.
we are like this. Bert Anderson is here in town. Jose Gibson is here. And we all go out to eat together sometimes. And when somebody comes in, if Sylvia comes in from up in Pensacola, when she's here, then we take her, we have a ball just talking. But other than that, I guess because of my involvement with the schools in later years, knowing that I had come through Lincoln Park, and Lincoln Park has always kind of been there in front of me to make sure that everything went right at Lincoln Park. I did make sure that they would not cut short. I think I said it that way.
Yeah.
I made sure that Lincoln Park, if something was coming down, Lincoln Park was going to get what was going on.
Yes.
Even though we had schools all over town.
So, if you were back in school again, what would you change about your experience?
Not nowadays. Oh my Lord, what would I say? Not nowadays. I don't know how you would change anything. I don't know how you would change because it would be hard for my experiences that I had coming through school during the years that I came to school.
Yes.
It's a different time.
Yes.
Kids now have different thoughts, different ideas, and different ambitions. And I could not match what I came through to what you're going through now.
Right.
So I could not say that I couldn't change you because we are living in a different time. And it's good because you are growing up, performing, what you know, what you want to do, how you want to do it, and you're enjoying yourself. Like I enjoyed myself then. In later
Yes.
years, it would be a different world.
Yes.
And as the world changes, therefore, we can't go back and we can wish we could go back to old days, but we can't do it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say I would have anything. Could do that.
Okay. So, growing up, did you have a dream job that you wanted to fulfill?
But what?
A dream job.
I don't think I had a dream job, but when I had that opportunity to go to college, that was something that was not just something that came by normally. It just everybody, our kids did not, unless the parents were able to send them somewhere, they just didn't go to school. But for me to be able to go to a school, a 4-year school, and see a difference in how education is taught, how your learning ability is strengthened through how it is taught on college campuses. You grow up.
Right.
You become adults in a different. You're living now in a different world. Because I'm through with high school now. I'm a college graduate, and even after I left college and went to Montreal School and living in New York, that still was something because I was living up in the East Bronx, had to come all the way down, change at Central and go all the way down south in order to go to school every morning. And seeing how New York was and how Fort Pierce was, living in a city, living in Fort Pierce, it still did something to me.
Right.
But I enjoyed it because I would meet people every morning. You got to know people on the same. Every morning there are people going down on the subways that you can see every morning, and somehow you start talking to each other.
Yeah.
Because you know. But other than that, but I'm thankful. I'm thankful for what I was able to do, and what I've been able to get done. But it's just life has been good. I wouldn't want to go back over
That's
it.
good to
And I
hear.
wouldn't want you to go through life that way. You deserve to have a different life, a life of, not a life of ease, but a life of openness that you can, whatever dream or whatever thoughts that you dream that you want to do, you can do that. It's not that you can just sit there, I wish I could do this, I wish I could do that. Wishing is not now for your generation. Whatever you want to do, if you really want to do it, you can go do it. If that little thing inside of you says that's what you want to do, you're going to go do it. And nobody can stop you.
You're about to make me cry.
I'm sorry, but
No, you're good.
This is just, you know, it's hard to understand. It's hard to understand. It's hard for you to understand the trials and the tribulations that we endured to get where we are. So therefore, some made it and some didn't. But I'm thankful that I was able, because some of these people right here had hands on me that saw to it that I did what I needed to do to get where I am. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful for that. But, as I said, this is a different world. This is a different world.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm just looking. I told you that.
So, what significant historical events besides segregation do you remember hearing about or experiencing growing up?
What was that first name?
What significant historical events do you remember hearing about or experiencing?
Here in Fort Pierce.
Just in your life around the world.
In these years that I have lived, I have seen so much. First thing, I guess, to go back to keep it level, It's the way education has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Education is now open to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
All they got to do is just be a part of it. It's not just, and it's nothing that can, nothing in this world and you do in your life. If you want to do it, you can't do it. So that's one of the main changes that kids now have. But we would want to do something. A lot of parents weren't able to afford to send their kids to do this or do that. But those of us who were able to do that, if we look back, we are grateful to those individuals, adults, that had enough faith in us
Mm-hmm.
to try us and to give us an opportunity to do this. So,
So, what are your memories of events such as segregation, the civil rights movement, or any wars?
where we what now?
What are your memories of segregation, the civil rights movement?
But see, my memories of segregation was not being able to go into a store and
Right.
go down on Second Street.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain doors you can go through, certain doors you didn't go
Yeah.
through. Going to the doctor's office, you were around to the back, you couldn't go in the front door.
Yeah.
These are the things that's in my memory. They're always, because that's what I grew up with.
Yes.
So that's a part of me.
Mm-hmm.
To see now how we have changed, be able to do that. My kids came in and they wouldn't even think of that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this. He'll log it first. But
Mm-hmm.
our times, I'm thankful that it has come like it is, that it's not what we had. We are, as I keep saying, this is a new world and a new society.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing people go down. My grandmother would bring me up. She said, "Now turn off all the lights. We lived on 7th Street. Everything had to be dark." And she sit there to the window, and I sit to the window. I did not realize what was happening, but somehow she knew that something, a parade or something was fixing to come. And that night we saw these people, these white robes on with the white hoods, marching up 7th Street, going up 7th Street.
Mm-hmm.
And I still remember seeing that. Something went up there, see, they're going up 7th Street. And they called that with the Klan. Didn't see them anymore, but I saw them. And see, that's still there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's here, we'll be there. But see, you don't have to worry. Now, I don't know. Let me say this. I don't know. Where society is now, it's hard to predict what's going to happen to you when you leave here.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a crazy world. You're going to have something in you to say, now, I'm going to do this regardless, and I'm going to be here regardless, and keep eyes focused on what you want to do and what you want to be. Because I said, I really wouldn't want to be coming up. I look at my grandchildren right now, and I said, well, I'm sorry for them. For some of the decisions and some of the things they have to go through.
Mm-hmm.
But to make it in the world, you're going to have that strength and have that determination to do it in spite of.
Mm-hmm.
You tell yourself, I'm going to do this in spite of what they say.
Yeah.
And you can do it.
So, what do you consider to be the greatest inventions or other improvements in your lifetime?
Inventions.
Inventions.
Oh, my Lord. You know, I saw this thing and read through it, but I didn't read it that good. Inventions, I don't know. I've seen so much that you could say would be inventions. I don't know what would be the greatest. Of course, there were cars there were automobile cars there, but sometimes you have a hanky, you go in the front of the car and you have to crank it up and get it running. It was amazing, but first all you had to do was take something and put it in the back, and that was the gas, pump it in. Oh, dear. I don't know. But I guess I was blessed to have a family. Even though my mother was in a wheelchair, my grandmother was there, that sternness. And my grandfather saw to it that, because I didn't say this, but my daddy was in the service, supposed to be my father. Well, I shouldn't say supposed to be, but I was named from Samuel. But when he came home from the army, I remember him saying, "Your dad is coming, your dad is coming, your dad is coming." So I didn't know what to expect, but when he and this fellow soldier came in with all their regalia on, it frightened me. I went and hid up under the table.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from under there. But I think about that. I think about often how it should look. But he, as a man, I grew up knowing, not I grew up, but in later years, I had sorrow for him because as a married man with a wife that when you came back from the service that was stricken down with an illness, polio, that it was rough for a man. And I remember during that time, the rooms was just had curtains between them. My mama's room was right now, was right here. And sometimes I hear him come in. I was old enough to hear him come in, and she'd be crying. She would cry. So I go through, and he'd come in and fall down on the bed. The leg be down, so I would take the leg and put it up in the bed for her because she couldn't do it. But those things I remember. And when he left the morning, we were having breakfast. And he said something sassy to my grandmother. And my grandmother had her coffee cup in her hand. And whatever came out of his mouth, and it came and she threw that coffee away. And he left. That was his departure. He left. And the lady that he was seeing, everybody thought he was going to marry, never married him, so he never, but he went through life. And when he passed, I was in church, and somebody came to me, "Your grandmama wants you to come see your dad just died." I said, "Huh? What you telling me for?" So anyhow, I did get about when I went over to the house, and she used to call me Sweetie Boy. "Whatever you want to do, Sweetie Boy, it's in your hands." I wanted to tell her, "Ma'am, you do whatever you want to do," but I didn't tell her that. And I went back in the room, and the first thing I saw in this room, there was my picture, my graduation picture, sitting up there on the dresser. I said, "What are you doing with my picture here?" Oh, I never knew that, but that struck me, that he had my picture up there. But anyhow, I went on through, I did what I was supposed to do. I have some colleagues in the field of mortuary science that I told them that I wasn't going to do nothing. How I was going to do it. And they came ready to do fight with me. One from Belgrade and one from Miami. Because I told them what I was going to do. I wasn't going to put them in anything, and I wasn't going to have it. Sammy, don't you do that. And they knew I was crazy enough just to do it. So they came up and did a few. But when they got here, I had put him in something decent. So they went and changed. He said, "We're so glad because we ready to do Bobby. We know you're crazy." But no, these are things that I reflect back on sometimes that I grew up. But as far as anything else having an effect on me, I can't say during that time. I can't. Now after I finished school, came back and got married and took over the business and had kids, life changed. Mm-hmm. It was a difference then.
Mm-hmm. So, who had the greatest influence on you as a child or an adult?
My grandmother.
Grandmother?
My grandmother.
Did that influence ever carry on to your children?
The first one.
In what ways did she influence
Because
you?
we had to carry him down there with us every day when I go down. My wife was working it, they ruined him. She was there. She and my mother was there for the laundry. You couldn't do nothing. Everything. He was the perfect child for them. Perfect man. Did that boy do that? Don't you hit that boy? But the other two did. But the grandmother, she was still had that grandmother effect on them. And right now they still talk about grandma. But she was the one because when my mother died, when she passed, it was strange too because we were sitting up there. I can't remember what holiday what it was, but she was sitting in a chair and she told her mother she wanted it was something she wanted her to cook up for her.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandmama said, Alma said, I was going to do something. And she said, Mom, I just want a little bit of it. So she said, okay. So she did it. And when she got it ready. She gave her a little bit. She took one little spoonful and put it in her mouth. She said, that tastes so good. She rolled back into her bedroom. And we had a stool that she would slide from the chair onto the stool onto the bed. And and then she could get her legs up. So after a while, my grandma said, you better go back and check on Alma. So I went back in there, and she was in the bed. I went by the bed, and her hand was out, and she grabbed my leg and was looking at me like funny, but just looking at me out. She wouldn't take her eyes off me, but she held on to me. And when I took her hand loose from me, so I could go out and tell my grandmother, I went to the other part of the room. So I went and told my grandmother. My grandmother went back and she looked at, she said, Alma's leaving here, go get Dr. Benton, go get him. He's leaving here. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, Doc came, his nurse came and carried her up to the hospital right on 7th Street. And that night, at about 1 or 2 o'clock, he called and told me that we had lost her, that she had passed. Mm-hmm. But just like that, she was gone. But I remember this like this, that light was ominous. That was my mama Alma. But she was okay. That was my mama. I'm sorry. I'm getting off on something. I'm thinking. So you asked me,
So, what would you say are the greatest challenges that you face in your life, and how did you overcome them?
The greatest challenges I faced in my life was not that it was taking over a business and changing a business to something to modernize it. That was a challenge. And when my grandfather passed, therefore it was all left on me. Later years, as I grew and became doing different things, I guess this changed me. That thing I showed you, I think that took a change. That changed my life. Because I never thought. Oh, by the way, how that happened? I never thought that was going to happen. Never thought something like that would happen. I would have been elected to the St Lucie County School Board. But same Dr. Benton we were talking about. We had bought some cars, and he always liked to see something new. He came down to the funeral home one day. Samuel, I said, you got a new car? Yeah, blah. So we went out there and opened, sat in it. Come on, sit in it. I sat up on the wheel, just sitting there under in the carport. And he started talking. Dr. Benton started talking. Then he talked about he had gotten word that if he could find the right fellow, the governor would appoint and put that individual to the school board. I said, what do you think about Doctor? I ain't going on no school board. No. Anyhow, he kept talking around and around and around. I said, Doc, whatever you want to do, go ahead and put my name on whatever you got to put it on, knowing that I was not going to be chosen anyhow to myself. So he did.
Yeah.
And a couple of days later, I got a call from Tallahassee telling me that on Friday they was going to announce that I had been chosen to be a part of the school board. I said, me? And it happened. And I think it changed to me because I look back now at things that I wrote, mm-hmm. things that I presented, things that I fought for.
Yeah.
And during those 32 years, it frightens me.
Mm-hmm.
But I had nerve enough to go do what was going to be best for the system and for kids.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, people come up, hey, Dr. Gaines, so. But it was for the children.
Yeah.
My mind always was what was best for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And never thought, but here I am spending, and therefore, I guess my name is about on every school. Because I came in, I saw it on the plaque out there. But those were days that got to me. But I took it seriously, and I did the best I could. And I hope that I made a difference and change in the lives of some of the teachers and some of the things that was going on. But they knew if they gave it to me, I was going to sit there and I was going to present it.
Yeah.
This is not what you asked me, but after I left the board, they said it was something that we had still on the book, and they needed me there because I needed to vote on it because it needed me because I was a part of it. So my wife carried me back over to the school board, and I'm sitting down there, and I heard they was wavering this, wavering that, wavering this, and then they called a number. I said, "Now, wait a minute, that number that's that school out there that we gave, that's not a name."
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, my name. I said, wait a minute. I said, I just hear what you all are doing. I hope now you're not getting ready to put my name on that school I did we were building, because I heard that same number. Because all of them that's on it, they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
There was 3 names, and all of them are dead. I'm not ready to leave here. Well, we know that we don't want you to leave, but we want to put it on while you're still living. I said, oh. But they did.
Yes.
That's how Samuel Gaines Academy came about. And I never dreamed, never thought that I would be known to the degree that I'm known now because of the school.
Yeah.
And it all came about because I've always tried to do something for kids.
Mm-hmm.
Even on the board, I'm always trying to do something for kids. I'm going to something. I'm sorry. I got you. I'm reminiscing now. My mind is going on things like this.
No, that's good. So, do you recall, like, basically fighting for Lincoln Park Academy? How that occurred?
You didn't have to fight for Lincoln Park during the time I came up because we had already done that. We
Yeah.
had already, the community had already come to grips that Lincoln Park was going to be. So therefore, that was because Dr. Espy back there when he got his money and built the school on Means Court. See, when we moved out here, we came from Means Court. When the school out here was opened up, it was all down on Means Court. Later became Means Court Elementary, but that was Lincoln Park Academy. So therefore, we were trained down there.
Mm-hmm.
So when we got here, because the grass that was planted, instead of having PE, Jefferson had us out there planting grass.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Jefferson was the coach. He had us planting grass and other things that was not done. We had to do that. We did it ourselves. But it was the beloved. It became our second home. And therefore, nothing went wrong with Lincoln Park. We were the largest. In fact, we were the largest class when we graduated at the time. And I have a picture about as large as that picture up there with Lincoln. Of all the pictures, they got New Tribune had a paper in the newspaper, and all of our little pictures is on there. Lincoln Park, the largest graduating class in the history of Lincoln Park.
Wow. So, is there a person that really changed the course of your life?
I wouldn't say no one particular person.
Okay. So, from my knowledge, you've been really involved in the development of Lincoln Park. So, how have you seen LPA develop as a school, evolve as a school?
From where it started, and how it started, Lincoln Park has come a complete town because it was nothing like what you have in now was nothing like Lincoln Park. We had to come to. There's nothing that you cannot have if you put in if Lincoln Park says we need this for the kids, somehow it's going to be provided.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to have to be bargained for everything. Because when they sit down, teachers, when they sit down now knowing what they're going to need, they put the request in, I'm sure it's going to be provided. Recently, yesterday, uh, we met with the superintendent and some things that he's planning to do from some of the schools. It was amazing to hear what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
But even Westwood is going to be on Anchor Road now when the building is not going to go. That property goes all the way from Westwood, it's back all the way up to Anchor Road. So it's going to be there, and other schools are going to come, I think. Even C.A. Moore is going to have, they're going to carry the 8th grade. You're going to put a gym in, build a gym out there for them.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the improvements over my life that I see now that's changing in the schools that's going to make them better, because the superintendent and those are determined to do a good job as far as trying to train the kids into whatever they need to be trained in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thankful that I'm able to still see that. What we did probably helped some of it. It was not to the magnitude that it's going now, but whatever it was we did started it. But
Yes.
Lincoln Park, nobody ever messed with Lincoln Park.
So, what has provided you with the most satisfaction in life?
What
What are you most proud of?
my offsprings. My offsprings. In fact, I had 3 kids. All of them went and finished college, and all of them are working. But I've had the experience this past week. My oldest one, we went through a fraternity on college campus. I went through in '57. He came through in '80, and they were having a celebration of 100th anniversary, and I wanted to go. And they made it possible for me to go. That Friday and Saturday, I was in hog heaven just to be there on campus and see the changes and see the new buildings. And when I walk into one of our sessions, everybody, wait, hold it, stand up. Mr. Gaines is here. Dr. Gaines is here. He's the oldest person. I was the oldest intake that they had there. I was 57. Nobody was older than I was that had pledged in that chapter. So every time I walked in, you want to sit? They did everything for me. But just to be on campus, I told Andre, I thank you so much for just caring. Even to sit in the new gymnasium, it was just sit up, and they had the box, they had the president's, whatever they call it. You can go up to the president's suite, and he has glass with chairs down that they can go up there. Look, I was up there in that suite looking at the games and everything. I said, oh my Lord, look here. The old pool has been done away with. They've done a new, everything has been changed. But I think Andre, that for him to get me there, I wrote him, I said, I want to thank you. Never thought I was going to be able to get back, but just to be there, to be on campus again, and to see how it has improved, and just to be there, you'll never know what it did for me. Now all of them look out for me. I don't like it, but they all try to run my life. But you got lives that so don't come in messing with me. Yeah. But Andre, he's old. He's old enough. Now he's 60. I said, boy, you done got old. But Daddy, now you're not no youngster yourself. 85.
Yeah.
But that to get back on campus, that was a joy. I'm still talking about it.
So, what do you consider to be the greatest challenges facing our community, state, or nation?
Oh. Oh God, when you say the nation, so much is going on in this nation now, and not only in the nation, but in this world. It's hurtful to see things that's happening, even over there in Gaza, wherever, all that over there. I do remember when the eruption when they first, before, when they were forming that, I remember what they had to go through. And you see those people just out there leaving, being killed, and just leaving home. And I don't know, we can't, I guess we're helping as much as we can, but technically, we can't just go in and say this because then therefore then this country would be involved, and so therefore they're trying, but it's hurtful just to see the people, how what's going on in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
I said, Lord, I'm thankful that that's not here, but we're blessed.
Yes.
America is blessed that we've been able to survive and get done things that we've gotten done, not only in this city or this state, but across this country.
Mm-hmm.
And and to see how other countries have never been able to come up to what some of the things that we would achieve.
Mm-hmm.
Some of what the inventions that we've had, everything. But that's to me, that is what is, I hate to turn the TV on.
Mm-hmm.
Because you see all the people out there in the street, and now I understand they had to go into a hospital. People see babies dying, people dying because of. So right now in my life, I think that's what's here.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, whatever's happening, but that's what's here.
Mm-hmm.
And what's going to happen to this world.
How would you compare the challenges that we're facing today to the ones that you've faced?
I couldn't compare them. That's what we're going through today. I would think what things that we thought was bad.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't bad. You compared to what we go through now, those little things that we thought was horrible, man. This world is in a bad fix, and something has to happen to get us back on the track. We're in trouble. We're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
We're in trouble. We need to find somewhere we can all live peacefully. I should be able to live where I want to live. You should be able to live. You should be able to live. And nobody has nothing. But I don't know. I probably won't see it in my lifetime. There's always going to be some friction. But you can't compare. Things that we went through back in, nothing compared to what your world is into today. But I'm thankful that these people put enough in me and prepared me that I can stand and be a part and still not be involved, but I can do my part, do whatever I can do. Because these were my beginnings. These were the people that started me.
Mm-hmm.
What I got here on this ground, on Me's court, instilled in me things that still is there that I'm going to try to do. We had a motto, we do right because what? It's right to do right.
Yes.
I don't know whether that's still going or not.
It is.
We started it.
Yes.
We do right. You don't have to tell us to do right. Yeah. We do right because we know.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're still here, but that's it.
So, from your perspective, how have you seen the younger generation evolve?
Don't ask me that. Because I've got some grandchildren. They'll put me through it. But I think they'll survive. I hope so. I hope the parents have enough. Because it's not me. I can't. My second son. Now Andre. When I'm talking about the kid with the talent, his three are up. They're pretty well together. One is flying. She's here in town. Because she has a second patch for flying. She wants to be a commercial flyer. Yeah. So she's on the second level of going toward that. Now, that's one. The other one is in Atlanta. She has her eyes on what she wants to do. So therefore, she's okay. The son kind of went astray. But now he has found somebody that he's fallen in love with. That has made a difference. So Andrew now has changed over. So, but these last ones, are honorable children. I don't know. They put us through. They put us through. They put us through. I tried to be the grandfather. I tried to kind of steer them in the right direction, but it's hard. I tell the fathers and mothers, I say, y'all need to do such a thing. We need to do this and do that. But Pops, you know it's. I said, yeah, I know it's. But Pops, we can't. I said, well, okay, but it's what it's. Let me say it like this: the times are changed so differently that you can't even compare this 2023
Yeah.
to 10 or 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Now here I am talking. I'm talking. I can go back further. You can't even compare. So society has changed. Requirements, not requirements, but aspirations what people have changed. There are things now that never existed back there that exist now that they can use to get where they want to get to.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, everything is different. So therefore, it's an art to us, older generations, to look at how much is available for you all. Now, when you leave here, the world is there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you decide you want to be or to do, it's there to take you where you want to go. We didn't have that. If we could get through some of these kids, if they could get through high school, that was more than what they thought they could do. A lot of them did. Mm-hmm. And I see them now. Some of them are still living here, and they had different little jobs. They did some in the fields and some this and did that, some driving. But thankful. I'm thankful for those of us who were able to kind of move up, and I hope that our kids will carry on a little further. And see, your generations have to keep it up and going. Mm-hmm. Make it up in your mind. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to go. And let nothing stop you, because it's open for you. Things that's open was never open for us, but we had to open doors, and those doors now open for this generation.
Mm-hmm. So, is there anything we didn't discuss that you would like to mention or talk about?
Have not talked about it enough. Oh my Lord, I don't know what else it is to talk about. I pretty well have talked about everything that crossed my mind. Everything. I don't know what I put these things in here. Oh, this is just talking about the beginning of the schools in 2019, 23 and different things. But I don't know. I think as a father and a grandfather, soon to be a great-grandfather, I understand, I only wish the best for the child that's not here, that I won't be able to see grow up, that the world will carry that child to greater heights than we've been able to go to. Mm-hmm. My three have done well. As I said, my oldest one that carried me to Talladega, he retired. He was air traffic controller for 30 years. He's getting ready to retire now after 25 years being a paramedic on the fire department. Mm-hmm. The second one, he's an attorney. Plus he sits down on the city commission. He's a city commissioner. And I don't know, he's with kids. That little league is his passion. That little league field out there, those kids out there, that's his passion. He's gonna do whatever for those. My daughter, she's in the school system. She thought she wanted to come into my business. It wasn't. Something went wrong, but she's in the school system. Trying to make a difference with the kids up in Bureau. So hopefully that what they have done will enhance their children, mm-hmm. even this one that's coming, to make greater things. We only can wish for our kids. We cannot say this is what you can't do it. Because as I said again, this is a different time. a different world.